Okay, are we live? What up, ladies and gents? This is your favorite Asian robot right here, and one day I'll be your favorite creator for Synced, whether I'm official or not. Now, I'm here today to talk about the updated Master Ops Plus and Elite Solo Elite build that I've been using for quite some time. You will have probably seen me do this on stream, and if you haven't caught the streams yet, you definitely should. But I'm going to explain the build that I'm using right now. It's an update of the previous build that I was using, and I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to go through it in depth, but there's not going to be a demonstration segment. So keep that in mind. This video does not come with the demonstration segment because I've demonstrated it on stream pretty much all the time. So yeah. I'm going to go through what I'm using now, and please take note that this is for advanced Master Ops Plus as well as advanced levels of Elite. It is therefore all gold mods, and you are going to have to find some very specific ones. Okay, let's go through it. All right, starting here. The character that I'm using is often Dr. Stone. This build, however, will work with any runner. There is no ideal runner, it is up to you. Why do I take Dr. Stone? Mostly because he comes with the Healer's Aura medical drone. It is useful to support a team as well as to support myself. Okay? That is the first thing you need to know. In terms of companions, I, in general, will choose the Suppressor or the Crusher. It's either one of these, I don't pick anything else with this. Suppressor is best if you feel that you can do well with extra range damage. The Seer can be also a very interesting pick if you don't really rely on your Nano, but I actually do because my Nano taunts and tanks for me, so the Crusher remains my staple. But feel free to use the Seer or the Suppressor with it. I don't recommend the Guardian with this because you don't really need him, alright? So yeah, one of these choices would be ideal. Okay. Now that you understand the companion as well as the runner choices, which is to say, do whatever you want, basically, the build itself is fairly simple. Weapons-wise, you're going to go with the Deadly Tortoise. I've explained why it's good in the past. Sophisticate or your choice of pistol doesn't really matter. Your choice of melee weapon doesn't really matter. It's up to you, okay? But the main crux of this is the mods. What mods do you use in this build? There's only one mod that you can use, which is technically purple. It'll be best if you can get it gold, but I still haven't found a copy of it. I don't know why. But it is this one, Headhunter. I'll explain it in a second. Let's go from left to right. Starting first, now I'm going to give you the standard version of this, then I'm going to show you how to modify and change it, okay? The standard version of this, which I use specifically with the Doctor, is to start out with Making Lemonade, which allows me to take advantage of my skill cooldowns very often, all right? Making Lemonade is very useful. You will almost always be taking damage because that's why you have a lot of health and armor. Okay, you will almost always be taking damage in the upper levels of Master Ops Plus, Elite runs, whatever. You're always going to be taking damage. This is very useful. But take note that this effect has a 5-second cooldown. After it occurs for 5 seconds, all right, you're gonna need to wait another 5 seconds before your next tick of damage will trigger the effect again. Be very cautious about this if you're using this, okay? Why is this used with Doc? It gives me an additional heal for the team, all right? It allows me to heal faster as well as just generally being useful. The first slot doesn't come with a lot of other options that you can consistently take advantage of. One other option would be reload to unload, but take note that it occurs after reloading and it only lasts for 15 seconds. Depending on the type of weapon you use, in this case, we're using the Deadly Tortoise LMG, this might not be as useful even if you want another offensive mod. And Help Me Help You tends to work best with the Seer, so it's really not the best choice either. Orbiter Stun can be helpful, but has a cooldown of 5 seconds, same as this. And several other items work with very specific builds. There's only one optional variation for this, and that would be Birds of a Feather, okay? If you need more offensive power on this, take Birds of a Feather, and you will be able to deal damage to nearby nanos of the same type when you kill a nano, okay? This deals shockwave damage, by the way, so because it deals shockwave damage, you can actually pair it with the shockwave stuff in the codex to have it deal even more damage. So this can be very useful if you are in a situation where you know you've got plenty of offensive power and that's why you are absolutely going to stomp everybody. That can be when you use Birds of a Feather. But I do not recommend taking away from that if you need defense. If you need defense, go with making lemonade. It is safe. It is the safe choice. Okay. That settles it for port 1. What about port 2? For port 2, your best choice is parting gift. All right. This is the ideal choice pretty much across the board for most builds. Parting gift allows nanos killed with bullets to drop explosives. It will be an almost guaranteed trigger. So it is very useful for AoE clearing. It's great for clearing out the trash mobs, and it deals explosive damage, which can be improved through your codex and which will also be necessary for several elite run challenges. So parting gift is the best choice here. If you don't have parting gift, explosive ricochet can be useful, but it's not as strong as parting gift. All right, parting gift is a superior version and it does far more. So I just want to make you guys aware of that. All right, so parting gift is usually my choice. PvE Port 2 does not really have a lot of variations. In general, for this type of build, it would either be this or explosive ricochet. There is nothing else that I found that is useful here. However, there is a choice. If you feel that your weapon can handle area of effect really well, or if you feel that you don't really need area of effect to clear, or perhaps your weapon is just efficient at area of effect damage, okay. The alternative is the old 1-2. Whenever you you will deal additional damage with your primary weapon after a critical hit. This lasts for 15 seconds and is very, very potent. This can basically tune, like if your goal is single target damage, this is your choice in place of parting gift. Take the old 1-2, it is absolutely fantastic. If you really want to focus on single target damage instead of an area of effect style wave clear. Okay, so those are the options that you've got. Next, for PvE Port 3, Headhunter is the ideal choice. This mod is so strong. It only lasts for that particular run. So for example, let's say you're in round 1, you trigger your skill 3 times, your damage will be plus 45% for round 1. The gold mod goes up to 60% plus 20% each time you use your skill. And it's got unlimited duration. It lasts for the entire round. It is so strong. This is why I love using it. It basically, because it's weak point damage, it's easy to trigger and it will always trigger. That's why it's so absolutely devastating. However, I do have to let you know that there are other options. If you're using a weapon that reloads frequently, reload blast can be okay in place of AoE, allowing you to use the 1-2 punch on the old 1-2 on PvE Port 2. The other option for Port 3 is to use this one, hard hitting. Eliminating a nano deals direct damage to nanos of the same type. It will last for a particular duration and deals shockwave damage. It can be useful if you want to replace your AoE here, okay, but because it only triggers against nanos of the same type, it is considered less effective than parting gift in my opinion. All right, and those are your options for this. There aren't really any other options that I would consider exceptional, all right, that is worth giving up Headhunter for. However, Orbiter's skill is also well known for its use. Orbiter accelerates skill cooldown whenever it strikes nanos. This can be very useful in some builds where you are basing your success on skills. Like if you really need to use your skills often, Orbiter's skill is very useful. Okay, but in general, this Headhunter is generally the best choice, generally. Okay, now the other option is for defense. For defense, your defensive options are critical care. Okay, critical care can help you restore your health after a critical hit. If I really need a lot of survival, I will use a build something like this with critical care inside it. Why? Although this has a cooldown of 8 seconds, it triggers very frequently and can save yourself in combat quite often. Don't underestimate how often this can save you. The other option, if I really need defense, is actually regenerative strength. At gold level, it's got a cooldown of 15 seconds and you'll be immune the first time you're hit, no matter how much the damage is, after your armor has regenerated. pair this together with armor transfer, which is pretty much standard for PvE Port 4 in all builds, and bada bing, bada boom, you've got a build that will shield you no matter what. All right. Now, take note that this selection of mods is different from the stun build. Why? Because the stun build is already covered. You guys know how to operate that one, but the stun build is not like a complete easy success build. Sometimes it doesn't really work that well, and you can get caught in some rough situations if you are focused solely on the stun build. Don't get me wrong, the stun build is great, but it does have its limitations, and that's why I don't utilize it a lot, because it suffers. Like, this gives me both AoE and single target damage, especially against tyrants, bosses, things like that. If I use the stun build instead, I don't really have as many options, so that is why I don't focus on the stun build a lot anymore. I've found that I needed more offensive options rather than defensive options. The stun build is very effective, but it's mostly defensive in nature, and it doesn't focus as much on tyrant or Goliath damage, which can sometimes be an issue in the higher level elite runs, especially, and the higher level master ops. Okay. Next, you are going to have to worry about PvE Port 4. However, PvE Port 4 is very, very easy to deal with. Why? Because there's only really one option. Everybody usually goes for armor transfer. Why? Armor transfer would not only increase your maximum armor by 100%, which is amazing, but every time it triggers and breaks a nano's armor, it's 100% trigger rate, you fully replenish yours. This can help you gate your health in extreme situations, because you just constantly restore armor. Even if you take a hit and drops your armor, you restore it back straight away. This is why armor transfer is abused constantly. Now, are there any other options for this? Yes and no. If you feel that you have a build that is defensive enough that can help you survive, one thing that people like to use is either Making Lemonade or Orbiter skill cooldown along with Skill Thrill. This will increase the damage with your primary weapon after using your skill. It lasts for 30 seconds and the gun damage is improved by 50%. This is quite fantastic because it supersedes a lot of the other bonuses, and it triggers across all your gun damage, not just your weak spots, not just your crits. In fact, it enhances your crits because your base damage goes up. So Skill Thrill is often used if you're willing to give up armor transfer. Skill Thrill paired with other methods of defense can be an incredible way of just mowing down the competition. Okay, so don't underestimate Skill Thrill. It is very powerful, but I don't use it because normally my defensive option is Port 4. Okay, Port 4 has a lot of good competition. The other good competition here is the Slow Ricochet, which can be used. Yeah, I'm just checking. Okay. So there are two offensive options. Sorry, almost forgot. Slow Ricochet is the first. Why? Bullets will ricochet between nanos and slow them down. It is extremely powerful, and I know the portrait is bugged, so that Slow Ricochet is showing a completely different skill, but this is the actual portrait right here. Slow Ricochet is extremely powerful. Its cooldown is only 1 second. And your bullet will just ricochet between nanos, slowing them down drastically and allowing you to deal more damage. This is what it's used for, okay? The other option is actually kinetic armor. Kinetic armor functions similarly to armor transfer. However, it does not restore your armor. Okay, what it does is it gives you 100% max armor, but nearby nanos will automatically get their armor broken whenever you deal damage to other nanos. This results in basically everybody having their armor insta-broken. But I find it less useful because this is great if you're going on a pure offense type situation, or if you're attacking and you know that your survival is not threatened. This is a very good choice for that in place of armor transfer. But what I will also say, and this is just me being very honest with you guys, when you're pushing your limits, armor transfer is far better because armor transfer will help you survive. Okay, so these are your options for mods, but roughly that is what I'm using to solo the high level master ops and high level elite runs. This is what I'm using right now. Okay, this is an update to the previous build, and I wanted to give you all the various options for the different ports. So my standard build looks like this. Okay, on occasion, if I feel that I've got enough damage, I go with Birds of a Feather on the first one. This is a no-brainer for me because it just really works well. You can also use reload to unload, but this is only good if you deal a lot of critical damage, i.e. with an LMG. This can be very useful, but in general, Birds of a Feather is the choice because it helps you AoE faster. Okay, so you can choose whatever way you want to go. It's really up to you, but this is what I use. This is what I do. If I'm sure that I'm gonna absolutely wipe the floor with my opponents and I don't really care about all that kind of like, if I'm not worried about health and armor too much, I will definitely go with kinetic armor or slow ricochet. Either one is very, very brutal. It's very powerful. Don't underestimate either of these. Okay, they are muy bien, very good. All right, I don't even know if I used that correctly, but I'm just gonna go with it. All right, this is what I'm using right now. I hope you guys have fun with it. I hope you guys enjoy the Mass Drops Plus, Elite runs, all that kind of stuff. Take note that this is not for Elite challenges. These are just for the regular Elite runs. This is how I managed to stay alive during them and also dish out plenty of damage. Okay? Thank you guys for enjoying this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you enjoy my content. If you guys want to support the channel, you guys want to see more from me, other than just liking, sharing, and subscribing, one thing you can do is you can contribute to the channel by becoming a channel member. You can send super chats, you can send super thanks, you can tip me. All of that is available when I'm on stream, or you can do so through the links in the description of the video. All right, tips are very much appreciated. All of it goes toward producing more content for you guys. In fact, if you are one of the top supporters, you get a thank you. Let me shout out these people right now. Top tipper, Big Chungus. All right, top tipper list, Bravo and Tarko. Top super chatter, Alien Frost 80, Mr. T. They are tied right now. Top super chatter list, Holdedaki, King Anubis, Nightshade, Rivarcher 124. Top channel membership gifter is Nightshade. Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. Last but not least, let me thank the channel members who make all of our shenanigans possible. These guys are the top of the tops. They have maintained their membership for a long time. They are insane. Starting right at the top, at the OnlyFan level, we've got Big Chungus at the OnlyFan level. We've got Death Dawning 982 at Plus Ultra, one of our longest and biggest supporters. We've got Jerry Fast, Rogue Assassin, Zach MG as Prestige. Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. Thank you to all of our honored robots as well. Corey Ryu, Kashiwa, Bob John, Cube, Devin Lashin, Mookie Mocha, Rena, Chase Taylor, Nathan Strong, Nightshade, Lady Neo, Joey Danze, Syed Assad, Koda CMF, Kamiya Simage, Conrad C, and Benjamin Savage. You guys are the best. I have no words to express how grateful I am to you guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy the builds, and y'all have fun. See you in the Meridian.